Welcome guys to my rest day at the Finnish coast. It's winter. This is actually the sea that's frozen, not a lake or anything like that. This happens here, but we had a pretty mild winter now. Well, let's get situated here first. Brought a little bit something to sit on because it's still fresh. Alright, I think we should be good now. My rest day, I finished a 3-week training block. I work in a 3-1 rhythm, 3 weeks load and 1 week off. And we're starting this with a back-to-back off day. That's something we wanted to try out. We thought about it last time. We did 1 off day to start the thing, but let's really see how back-to-back off days works and feels like to absorb it. And the only time you actually know if it's working or not is actually in, I would say, for sure week 1 of load, or more like week 2. But these easy weeks, I had a bit of a learning curve as well, I have to say. Because the first time I nailed it, really rested. Second one, I got a bit cocky, arrogant, you can say. I put a little bit of a travel in there, just this Italy trip, it's also another video. Put that in there, and then you do something and you suddenly eat your diet a bit different. You're kind of not eating as much, you're just kind of going with the normal thing. And like before you're like in week 1 or week 2, you're so tired and wasn't training. And so it's really this easy week, you can really mess it up. So it's important that I have mental and physical recovery. So that's that. Then I also was already in contact with my mentor, with my team for the next block, how we plan this. What is it looking like in the key sessions? One of the key sessions for the run will stay the same. The key run session will stay the VO2 max intervals, 5-minute reps. I assume it's going to be 6 times 5 minutes as it was before. Progressing kind of in intensity instead of duration. 6 times 5 minutes is already quite a bit of duration over LT2 threshold, anaerobic threshold, so it's a taxing session obviously, so you need to, the whole week and load needs to reflect that. Then on the bike we'll stay with the 1 VO2 max, the 30-30s, progress there as well, but not more in load. It's the same day as the VO2 max run, so it's pretty taxing muscular wise especially. And then we got a visitor. And then the second key bike session will be the threshold bike. I had 6 times 10 minutes so far. We're going to progress that to 4 times 15 minutes threshold or 3 times 20 minutes threshold with only 2-minute rest. So it's actually a threshold, right? And have a check-in with lactate there a little bit, but not too much. The main thing is really, that. Then in the second week of load, we'll be going together because every day I do a video now, right? I go into a bit later the mind side of it and why I do this, and in general how I approach this whole professional sports thing, which I think hopefully you can relate to your life as well. It doesn't have to really do anything with sports or things like that, but we go into that afterwards. But let's finish this training sports physical part off, which is somebody just jumped in there in the water. We're gonna do this afterwards, by the way. We're gonna jump in ice water. Jump is a big word. We're going in, have a lot of warm clothes with. No sauna after, so you really just go like 10 seconds and then put a lot on and then it's fine. Then it's no issue. Okay, so where was I? The physical part. Training. We'll be doing the second week of load. So now we're in my easy week, not week 1 of the load, week 2 of the load. We'll be going to the hula, to the lab, where my mentor is as well, Elias, and we'll be doing a lab test to have a look there at the details. And the run test, actually not, yes, that will be the block after, otherwise it's too much training compromised. We don't want that at all. So number 1 is always training recovery. You can test yourself to death, that's not the goal. Training is what gets you from A to B, but the more you know exactly how to train, what to train, you can just make sure that you waste 0 time in doubt. Like I've been, for example, in 2024, not knowing how to train, how to get from A to B, how to get from, leaving my job, everything behind, doing it on an age group level. That's one thing, like being more towards the front in age group front level, and that's all fine and dandy, but it's a whole other level in full commitment physically, mentally, how to do it on the highest level in the sport, in any sport. So I want to really approach it to a higher standard that I can for myself. Let me go basically in the second part of today's talk. But I would say we can check out another location, how it's looking somewhere else. Found a good spot. So the second part is basically about the mind, something how I want to approach this, and maybe also the place where I come from, because so there's basically two things. There is, for all of us, there is the ego and the self. The ego, we need both, but the self is harder to access. All of this, what I'm talking, is basically also what Steven Pressfield talks about, but also just listen to a very good podcast. That was very inspiring. So for me, what I learned over the years is, so basically it took me 32 years until I was 32 basically to figure out what I want from my life. Not what I want, that's the wrong wording. How do I feel fulfilled? How do I feel happy every single day? And I think all of us are all in search for that. And now I never had in my life, literally since childhood and work and all these things, never felt it, not even remotely close. Now, for example, just being in this place that I'm supposed to be, right? I'm in this journey towards professional sports, the outcome, but like really it's just this calling that I feel like this part is really important to me. And the other one is kind of the artistic side, is what I'm doing here with YouTube. I really want to, for example, ego. I have a very strong ego and very strong, saying it sounds so weird. I know it's so hard to communicate it. It's not the language either. It's not the language barrier. It's not like I could do it better in German. It's very hard to communicate it at all. So bear with me a little bit, because the last thing I want is that, which is very common when somebody has a camera in front of me, which is not what I want, is like this, that you create this kind of hierarchy that says, okay, this person is now a teacher and is kind of speaking down on everybody's listening because he's the almighty, he knows stuff. That's not at all what I want. It's so difficult to communicate because it's this pattern. I don't want to be someone that gives advice. I don't want to be someone that pretends like he has everything under control, everything is always fine. That's just all not true. I'm just saying talking about the experiences that I had in my life, and I'm still young, so this will change. In 5 years it will be evolved. In 10 years I hope so. I mean, I'm always evolving, I hope so. It will change and evolve. But what I learned and looked for most of my life is probably this feeling of like, you're doing something with purpose. You're doing something worthwhile with your life. And I searched and I got the degree, and then I did the work, and I followed a lot of it, like also society advice or like advice around me, but then also just following the ego. The ego is like a place of want, right? It's always in the future. It's trying to control, not always in the future, that's the wrong word. It's trying to control basically everything. It's the rational side, and we wouldn't go a day without it, right? So you couldn't do one day without the organizing part of the ego, but that side is also stopping us from achieving the things that are actually outside the realm of what you thought possible, or like those extremes. So there, when I, for example, quit my job to go after this, I didn't go after the rational ego. Everybody that's kind of thinking about my journey from the outside and can't see what I can see is this outcome, not outcome, so just like where I can go. I have this strong confidence and self-belief that like I can achieve something really extraordinary. Not for this objective ego part, like I said, that's the ego that always is a place of want. There's never enough money, never enough cars. Right now I have less than ever in my life. Can you imagine, like just having less than ever before when it comes to, I don't know, power, influence, money, whatever you want to call it, all those ego stuff. And I'm so much more fulfilled than I ever was. Just being on this journey on what I was supposed to be, because I stepped into this fear that I always knew what I should do, but it took me 32 years to actually make a significant choice, not just drift along and go here and drift there, just like drifting, but actually make a real choice about my life. No matter what anybody thought, just do it because you're 100% certain that this is the right step. And once you go towards this, there's really, you feel like you're really on part of something. So this is not a journey for the ego for me, because the ego, like I said, wants to win races. It's certain it can become a world champion, it can break records and all these things, blah, blah, blah. But that's all wanting, and what's the purpose of that? What if I do that and then I sit at home and you can either be boosted up by the social media likes or the bank account? What purpose do I have then for others? Like, if you don't, I feel like that would be just a journey for my ego. Like, I don't want that. I don't enjoy being in that state of the ego, of this want. It's a bit strong, negative place, you can almost say, because it's so intense. I have this side and I wouldn't be able to do this without it. The ego has a place in it. It's also in competitive sport, but it also has a place to shut it off. For example, if I would let it roam freely, like that is very common, then it would just constantly compare to the hierarchy, right? So either the athlete is better, okay, you're defending against the ones that are below. So always this hierarchy fighting. I don't believe this is by far, either way, I don't care how anybody else does it. I just want to do it in my way, that it's only focused on myself, on my own journey. But when it comes to actual racing, I want to be always going for the win. So this is always the thing, that I want to have the intent to win. If that happens, that's something else. But the place of the ego, especially in endurance sports, there has to be a patience part in it. So the ego, for me, will come at the end of the race. Like for example, if you're talking full Ironman with a marathon, the last 10K. Then, over the distance, I will slowly trickle my ego that it takes control. By the last 10, 15K, I let the reins free and the ego can have its seat in the front seat. And it will do what is needed, because it's an extremely powerful place and it can achieve everything. So that ego will then drive me towards my absolute best performances. And any competitor that is there, really, it's just about, it's completely impersonal as well, and nothing to do with who it is, but the ego will try to take the soul of that person and crush it. And anyways, you need that side, but that side is not something I want to live in. You need to practice it a little bit. So every now and then in training, of course, in more difficult sessions, you need to keep it alive, you bring it out, but otherwise I shut it off, right? Otherwise I just want to make this journey for the self. So this is also why this YouTube channel, I kind of, for example, don't even want to see the views. I completely blocked myself completely out of that whole spiral from YouTube to make something with an outcome, right? I'm going to create this art or journey, whatever you want to call it, because why do I do that? Why do I do every single day now these videos, and I'm going to continue to do those? Why do I do those? Like I said, I don't want this to be a journey for the ego, that it suddenly pop up and you win a race and you do this and that and you have tremendous success. Like, what purpose do I have then? What value do I bring to other humans? But if I, from this day on, document everything, every single day, so you can actually look back in whatever time frame it is, and completely detached from the when and the how, when it's going to happen, the big success, or what do you want to call it, the first milestone of something objective as well. Then you can just go back and have an exact look, frame of mind and physical, mentally. And it's not about the sport part. I hope to inspire people that no matter what situation in their life, it's not about becoming a pro athlete. That's not at all what it's just about. It's about just stepping towards this fear and making a real conscious decision about your own life. Because a lot of us are almost a bit spoiled perspective, that we basically think we got endless time and everything is forgiven. I'll just do it in 5 years' time. You don't know at all. I live a very stoic existence. So this is probably the only time, maybe in the rest day, because there's nothing to talk about the actual immediate training here, you will hear me talk about the future, the past. Otherwise, every single video will be entirely about this day. There will be no talk about others. I have really zero interest. I don't look, not on social media, anything. I have no idea what anybody else is doing. Neither do have any interest. I have the dreamer mentality that I'm never going to set myself any limits with numbers and training. And I also have a team that thinks also very open and freely. So that will be not the limiting factor, that like, let's see, okay, what is the norm? You need 340 watts for this, then this. I don't think like that. I really completely detached myself from numbers, what they mean. I just know my numbers, get them better. And we're going to be sitting here in the video after a win, or after 3rd place, after 10th place. Nothing will change. The work, the focus will stay exactly the same. I might be in a more uplifting state after one. Great. Doesn't matter. The work continues. Nothing changes. Because I want to stay focused on myself. So this is the one thing. Focus on myself, only on my progress. Like many people say, I guess. but I'm trying to get around the message that, yeah, hopefully rings true with some people what I just said. We'll be jumping in briefly in the water now, and then later I got a massage, plenty of food, rest physically, mentally, and just enjoy this beautiful day. Alright, we're heading for a quick and naughty jump in sea. Like I said, not a big jump, but will be fresh. I might just do the legs actually, because it's cold and I don't have a sauna, and you don't want any immune stress either, right? So just gonna do a quick dip. Bubbling warm, as you can see. Well, I actually only got that, of course, so it doesn't freeze, right? Because it would freeze otherwise. Let's see if you can get you guys here. It's gonna be a really short demonstration, because I got those booties, they make a big difference. But fuck it. Okay. Yeah, that was it already. I didn't feel as bad as I thought. I do this actually 5 times a week. Not in here, but we have in the pool where I swim like a 7-degree water. It says it's 7, but hell no, it's not 7. Definitely not 7. More like 3. But yeah, 5 times a week I do that, and sauna as well 5 times a week, and have this alternation between warm and cold water. I feel very good with it. It really helps my recovery a lot. Yeah, plus a massage now. So we'll be heading there now, and I'll be checking in tomorrow. Oh, I already feel better. Checking in tomorrow with rest day number 2.